Everyone, welcome to the regular meeting of the Town Council of the Town of Morristown. Today is Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. Margot, please take it away.
I, Margot T.K., the town clerk of the Town of Morristown, do hereby state that it is 7:34 p.m. on Tuesday, June 25th, 2024, and that this regular meeting is being held in council chambers, 200 South Street, Morristown, New Jersey. Adequate notice of this meeting is provided according to law by written notice to the Morristown Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Town of Morristown, and to the New York Star Ledger, both more than 48 hours ago. Notice was also posted on the bulletin board at Town Hall and filed with the office of the Town Clerk of the Town of Morristown. I do further state that I shall enter into the minutes of the meeting a statement which notice was furnished as particularly described by me in this public announcement. I'll take a roll call. Councilwoman Foster. Here. Councilman Iannicone.
Here.
Councilwoman Lindsay. Here. Councilman Felicia.
Here.
Councilman Russo.
Here.
Councilman Silva.
Present.
Council President Umbreak.
Here.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We can please pause for a moment of silence. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Michello.
Thank you, Council President. Previous to tonight's regular meeting, there was an appeal that was heard by Uma Flowers appealing the decision of this body to deny a renewal of their classified cannabis retail license. At this time, I recommend a motion on that appeal to grant the appeal, and second would be required and voice vote if necessary. At that point, I will memorialize it in a resolution.
Okay. I'll make a motion to
grant the appeal.
appeal.
Second.
On the motion to grant Uma Flowers appeal, Councilwoman Foster. Councilman Iannicone.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lindsay.
Yes.
Councilman Felicia.
Yes.
Councilman Russo.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
No.
Council President Umbreak.
No.
I'm sorry.
Do you need to?
I thought it was just not, the answer's no, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay, just to be clear, this is a motion to grant the appeal.
I apologize.
This motion will extend the license.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Does everyone
Okay.
understand their vote? Yes.
All right, so Councilman Russo changing his vote to no.
I apologize, this one.
And you would like to change your vote to no as well? Okay, that motion failed. Did I call myself? Council Silva?
Yes, oh,
And you said?
I said no.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay.
Madam Clerk, maybe we should do another roll call just to make sure we know exactly everyone's voting.
Okay, let's try this one more
Sorry,
time.
I apologize.
No, it's totally fine. This is, again, a motion made to grant the appeal, or in other words, grant the extension for another year to Uma Flowers. Councilwoman Foster. Councilman Iannicone.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lindsay.
No.
Councilman Felicia.
Yes.
Councilman Russo.
No.
Councilman Silva.
No.
Council President Umbreak.
No.
Okay, motion fails. 4 votes to 2, 1 abstention.
Council President, now as a matter of law, the license is not renewed.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Let's move to the consent agenda.
Consent agenda. I have a few announcements. If you could please bear with me. We had some last minute changes to the agenda. Excuse me. Resolution R-119-2024. That is the resolution renewing plenary distribution ABC licenses. Please be advised that numbers 1424-44-024-026 and 035 have been deleted from the resolution as they were not able to obtain tax clearance in a timely manner. So they are removed. Also, we are adding items numbers 3 and 4 to the consent agenda, and I will be handling them separately tonight. At table, you have facility use request application for our Their Future Caribbean Picnic. And you also have an application for a 4th of July kickback from Keandra Joseph. So again, those are items 3 and 4 being added to the consent agenda, and I will call them separately. All right. On, let's see, consent agenda number 1, adoption of minutes, June 11, 2024, Town Council executive session.
I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes from June 11th, 2024.
Executive session.
Executive session.
Okay, I will take a vote on that. Councilman Foster? Councilman Anacone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lindsay? Councilman Polypchuk?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Umbreak?
Yes.
Motion carries. We have the Labor Day Jam. Morristown Labor Day Back to School Jam at Caldwell Park on August 31st from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have a motion to adopt or approve.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Councilwoman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Anacone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lindsay?
Yes.
Councilman Polypchuk?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Umbreak?
Yes.
Okay, we have the, 4th of July kickback, from Keandra Jones, July 4th, 2024, from 12 p.m. to, it says 8 or 9 p.m. I believe you have a memorandum.
I do. Council President,
Yes, please.
if you wouldn't mind. We received this application, very late. We had received it last week, and then I got additional information about this application literally an hour ago, maybe an hour, 90 minutes ago, and rushed to get this memo to you. So, I apologize, not on behalf of Canada's board, by the way, so I apologize for that. But, you know, I do want to, since you didn't have a chance to review the memo, I'd like to read it quickly into the record so that you understand where I'm coming from. And I was literally drafting this when I got the additional information. So on June 17th, the administration received the referenced facilities use request form from Ms. Keandra Josephs for use of Caldwell Park. After reviewing the application, speaking to Ms. Josephs about the potential limitations, she has requested to move the event to Granby Park, and her application is amended accordingly. Since receiving the application, we became aware of a flyer advertising an event in Morristown that we now know is affiliated with this application. That flyer is attached to the back of this memo. After speaking with the organizer of the event this evening, about 90 minutes ago, she confirmed that the attached flyer is tied to her event, but the activities on the flyer were not included in her application. While this application was received after the administration's deadline, I processed the application for council's consideration because it was originally described as a neighborhood family cookout, which seemed appropriate for the holiday. Had I known the nature of what was being proposed, I would have denied her request before putting it before you for consideration, as she is not a nonprofit and the application was submitted less than 30 days before the event, which does not meet our timelines for this kind of function. For the reasons mentioned above and after further consideration, I am not recommending approval of this application. However, should you consider approving the application, the administration strongly recommends the following stipulations or limitations. The event should end at 7 o'clock with cleanup in the area, with the area cleared by 8. There has been a history of large gatherings on 4th of July in this neighborhood when it gets dark, and there's concern about loitering, illegal fireworks, and other disruptive activity. Police has requested this event be cleared out well before dark. 2, no fireworks of any kind, which are not permitted on parks anyway. No alcohol, as no alcohol permit was requested. Limit public advertisement. This event was presented as a family cookout for the neighborhood families and friends. Activities limited to those listed on their requested application. The flyer included a mechanical bull and a bouncy house, which with such short notice, there was no time to vet these activities for safety and adequate insurance coverage, and the organizer was told that they would not be allowed. The raffle is also not permitted, as they do not qualify for a raffle license. Finally, the town does not permit use of parks for events of this nature unless tied to a not-for-profit, like Our Youth Their Future, which is similarly being considered tonight, and that is stated clearly on top of the form. In this case, it is an individual applying for this purpose, and if it is approved, it would have to be a one-time exception, and the organizer would need to be informed as such. But I will reiterate, the administration again is not recommending approval of this application, given all of the reasons that were outlined in my memo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, I would ask for, can I do it backwards, or? Would I ask for a motion to approve?
Yes.
Okay, a motion to approve the July 4th.
No questions, just present to them.
Yeah, you can ask a question.
Okay, well, I mean, if you're saying that you don't recommend approval of the application based on everything that you read, if we were to grant the approval, I mean, who's to enforce and ensure that the event ends at 7 o'clock and it's spread out by 8 o'clock?
If you grant the approval with the limitations that are stipulated, the permit would have those limitations attached to it, and the police department would ensure that the event, or would do their best to ensure that the event, closes on time and adheres to this permit, just like any other facility use request.
Okay, and then the mechanical,
Mechanical
wall and the,
bouncy house.
the bouncy house. I mean, if we approve it and it's there, then it is.
Again, the police department will shut it down and will not allow it to be used. And the organizer was told that, and that would also be included. She didn't include that in her application. If you look at her application, it talks about children's games and, cooking. There's no other equipment or anything that's requested in that. We only found out because somebody stumbled on the flyer on social media.
And then I guess my last question would be, you know, I don't know if I'm super comfortable supporting it, if, I mean, is it gonna be police presence, you know, throughout the area, throughout, you know, the areas the event is going on, or is that something that she would have requested? Okay?
Well, again, she submitted on very short notice. She has not, to my knowledge, she has not requested off-duty police officers. And I honestly haven't had an opportunity to fully vet what she even plans, since I only found out that she's tied to this other flyer 90 minutes ago. My concern is that this event is a lot bigger than she is originally requested, and the nature of the event is not what she's requesting. And therefore, we haven't had the opportunity to effectively vet what she's asking for. Secondarily, we typically don't allow groups, like just a private person, to come in and take over a park like this. It's typically tied to a not-for-profit for a lot of reasons. One of them is when you have an organization that you're tied to, then you have a group that is responsible for running the organization, a group that takes on the liability even beyond the insurance that we require, and typically has an infrastructure to really manage an event like this. In this case, you know, I expressed to her all of the things that she would have to be responsible for, but I'm concerned that an individual, without me knowing what the organizational structure is, what their setup is, or anything, I don't know if she's going to be able to handle it. And like I said before, typically this wouldn't have normally even gotten to you. But the application as it was originally presented is not what I found is what I think is truly being planned, at least based on even the limited information that I have at this point, which may or may not be complete. That's my concern. But again, now that it's before you, you know.
Council President, I would recommend, even if you do consider this application, that you consider it with the stipulations of the five. Sure.
So if you're making an approval, I would make the approval with the limitations, and then you can decide whether you want to approve them.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve with the limitations. Second.
Okay,
And
this
it's
is
good, they applied to use the swimming pool?
You cannot apply, no, they thought they did, and that was also not permitted, but again, this application now been moved to Grand Canyon.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't use the pool.
They submitted an application with only 2 weeks' notice.
Right.
It was an incomplete application.
Correct.
It's a for-profit. It's in the middle of Coldwell Park, which is in the middle of one of our busiest neighborhoods.
Well, it's now Granby, but yes.
Granby. Well, now it's Granby. Well, still, you know, our
Yeah.
communities, they're looking to use the parks themselves
Yes.
for their own family and holiday events, especially people that live in apartments. And we know that we need our park space for our residents.
Right. I mean, the applicant lives in the neighborhood, and like I said, she originally described this event as it was herself and her family, and other families in the neighborhood wanted to get together and do something for their kids and their friends and family, which would have been completely appropriate and, you know, great, but that's
Not with the pool.
Now, with the flyer floating around and celebrity chef and hibachi and, you know, it seemed like a different event than what they're doing.
And then typically with the whole apartment, you know, the nonprofits, we do like the whole apartment, the liability, as part of the application, was that done?
Yeah, she did submit, insurance, certificate. She did do that.
Okay, so again, we're voting on the, approval of the 4th of July kickback application with the conditions outlined in Ms. Barrett's memo. Councilwoman Foster.
I don't know that I'm super complicated. I think it's the risk. But since I'm not comfortable, I'm just gonna say.
Okay, Councilman Iannacone.
No.
Councilwoman Lindsay.
Yes, with the condition that she don't have, yeah.
Okay, yes with conditions. Councilman Policcia.
No.
Councilman Russo.
Yes, with condition.
Councilman Silva.
No.
And Council President Umbriano.
No.
Okay, motion fails. The July 4th application is not approved. Our final consent agenda item is the application from Our Youth Their Future for their Caribbean picnic on July 20th, beginning at 11 a.m. A motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lindsay?
Yes.
Councilman Flippchuk?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Umbreak?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Public
Move to
hearing.
then.
Okay. At this time, I will open the public hearing, open the floor for a public hearing on the Special Improvement District's 2024 budget.
Mr. Armington.
Stephen Armington, 16 Cutler Street. I just wanted to say that, well, let me start off by saying that, last year the administration and council, I think, did a great job with the reevaluation of the town's properties, and as the prices went up, the tax rate went down to meet the needs of the town, and the budget was essentially represented that. This partnership budget, as noted in the introductory letter, pretty much says the exact opposite. We're gonna keep the rate the same. Hey, look, we got $800,000, now we're gonna build a budget that fills that $800,000. A couple items of note, one time, or the first year, $200,000 for, to build a tax appeal, source of funding. Is that gonna be every year, $200,000? That seems, excessive, especially when we're talking about $105 for $100,000 worth of assessed value. The one thing I learned from 12 years on the council is taxes either go up or they stay the same. They never go down. So if there's a promise out there that when we get more money or if our budgetary needs go down, the rate's gonna go down and then we're not gonna ask for more money. I think that's not realistic. Last year the council had a committee to review the partnership, and the thing we learned from that committee was, one, partnership, the Special Improvement District essentially includes the entire non-single family residential area, except for Ridgedale Avenue for some reason. It includes all businesses, offices, it includes all multifamily residential over 5 units. We also learned that every project, every development that was built after 1995 is exempt from the Partnership Special Improvement District. And we've had a lot of great development over the last 30 years. It's not a whole lot of mom and pop development. It's big corporations. So some might look at it as we're essentially given a corporate tax write-off. Basically, they're not paying anything. and all the small businesses are covering for all the big businesses. So, that's, my recommendation would be one other thing we learned, is that the value of those properties, that were built after 1995 in the 2022 year, equaled $400,000 worth of assessments at the existing rate and the prior assessed values. So my recommendation is one, vote against the budget. Two, require the partnership to have the council approve the ordinance that adds in all the businesses that have been built since 1995, freeze the amount of money that people are paying, not the rate or the assessment, since the assessment's going up, freeze the amount of money that people are paying, and give them the $400,000 that the new properties since 1995 would add to their budget. They could do that, that would give them all the money for salary increases and new staff. It would give them all the money for the lights and the landscaping and the meetings and the business things. It would essentially strip the $300,000 from a one-time assessment, which to maybe like $50,000 that would build over time. And so anyway, that's my recommendation, but I think, the public perception will be by supporting this, you're approving 130% tax increase on every business and multifamily residential property in town. That is not a great line to run on. Anyway, good luck.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak on the special improvement district budget only? Okay, with that, I'll close.
Ms. Jennifer Waring.
Oh, ma'am, I didn't see you.
Well, hello there. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer Waring, Executive Director of the Morristown Partnership. I just wanted to provide with Council the additional notification that was requested by Councilman Ianicone. It was direct mailed to our property owner membership that pays the special assessment, and that was the list provided by the tax assessor's office in February of this calendar year. In addition, the Morristown Partnership also opened up a open house yesterday. The notice was included with that notification that was provided by the town clerk's office about tonight's hearing, and we provided the opportunity for anyone in our membership, after reviewing the budget with the links provided in the QR code, to come and speak with us. I will provide this to Margo.
Thank you.
And that was mailed on Friday, July 14th. I guess I want to speak briefly to some additional public comment. The Morristown Partnership, for the better part of a year, has worked towards amending the ordinance that was last adjusted in 1995. Clerically and required by law, the properties that are built must be listed on our ordinance in what is called Schedule A by block, lot, and street address. So because we've had so much assemblage and growth and development over the years, that hard work that needs to be done by you council members by introducing and adopting an amended ordinance, we need your assistance. The Special Improvement District cannot inherently change it ourselves. So last year we drafted an ordinance. It's provided to members of council. We can send copies again to everyone. My team and I have updated the Schedule A based on the information that's available to us as of this calendar year. That was something that we wanted to do prior to the reevaluation. However, because of
Swearing, I'm sorry to interrupt
yes.
you. This is a specific hearing as to the budget.
Oh, to the budget,
Yeah,
okay.
so there may be other opportunities.
Sure.
General public comment, but we have to keep this.
So I'm available for questions on any line item on the Special Improvement District budget. The special improvement district rate has not changed since the early 90s, 1995. We have applied that to the property values, and as a result of the revaluation and the property value increase, that is where we established the portion of our budget, which is the line item with the SID assessment. And then from that point, we have developed the line items and expenditures from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ware. Anyone else on the adoption, on the SID 2024 budget adoption? Any other public comments or questions?
Okay, at this time, I'll open the floor for a public hearing on any other matter. When you're called upon, please approach the microphone, state your name and address, and limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. Be advised that any derogatory comments targeting members of council and their administration may be ruled out of order.
Mr. Burns.
Good evening. My name is Bill Byrne, and I live at 100 Franklin Street. What I'd like to share is something good news. And I just graduated from, I took a leadership course with Community Options. And I just graduated just tonight. So I got a little surprise to show everybody. Get it out. Okay. This is a certificate that I got for graduating and complete the course. So I will be doing a lot of speaking around the state or wherever they tell me to speak at. I just rejoined the Speakers Bureau for Community Options. So just graduated this year, and my good partner in crime, Mayor Tim Doherty, and Mary was there, and also former Councilman Arlington was there, and it was like really good. So just wanted to pass this around.
Congratulations. I think I saw, yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Judy Byron, 37 Road in Morristown, and I'm here to discuss the proposed noise ordinance. I urge all members of the Morristown Council to vote against the changes to the new proposed ordinance. In the DEP, November 14, 2023 DEP model noise control ordinance, it states in section B that if a municipality wants to change any provision of this model ordinance or wants to develop a noise ordinance that is not based on a model and the entire noise ordinance, including proposed change, shall be submitted to the department for review and approval prior to adoption. The department will review such noise ordinances to determine the consistency with the noise control and whether the ordinance is more stringent than the state's code. If the department disapproves of the changes, the ordinance shall be returned to the municipality and shall be considered disapproved, meaning the municipality cannot enforce it. So it sounds to me like this new proposed ordinance won't be approved by the DEP. And also I was wondering if it was submitted to the DEP. The second point is, why was the enforcement mechanism stricken from this new proposed noise ordinance? From what I gathered from the previous council meeting, the police didn't have any issues with the concept of fines, but rather the issue is about noise meter readings. And I heard talk about issuing tickets, but how can that be done if there is no enforcement language existing in the law? In section B, my place is pretty bad. In the state model noise control ordinance, it says there's jurisdiction to investigate suspected violations of any section of this ordinance that do not require the use of a sound meter, i.e. playing the audible times of day and distance determinations, they can pursue enforcement activities. So there's some instances where the readings aren't required. And I'm just wondering why can't you keep the quantitative aspects of enforcement and add some of the qualitative aspects? Based on the police officer's comments, why not add a provision that if the noise does not exceed metered readings, that exceptions can be made to not allow such noise based on number of complaints, proximity of noise to sleeping quarters and residents of the quarters, duration of said noise, time, especially at night time, difference between noise and ambient readings, the quality or lack thereof of the noise in terms of how obnoxious it is, the lack of necessity of said noise, inability to make it in time to all areas of intermittent noise to take readings, and if it is impossible to gain access to indoor space to take ambient readings, it should be well documented, by the way, and see if the DEP accepts the provisions along with the current model ordinance. If a bar plays loud music and people complain, the police can go and take readings, and then why can't they go back, say, at 5 in the morning for night shift and take ambient readings then when it's more quiet? I must say I'm glad that the 9-month gas power leak blower ban remains intact in this proposed ordinance. And this language should remain if this ordinance doesn't pass council tonight and it's revised. Lastly, the residents of Marshtown, are intelligent, busy people who have reasonable expectations that South Street, for example, isn't going to be quiet. But Marshtown's a densely populated town, and we don't like to be subjected to extreme unnecessary noise, which is why the gas power leak blower ordinance is being passed. And I'm sure these folks would be appalled with the new proposed ordinance, especially that enforcement has been eliminated. If they had the time to get into this proposal plan. So I urge you to pass this and just improve the existing ordinance by adding provisions that apply specifically to Morristown. But we have to keep the enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to come up during public? No, then I will close the public hearing. Any responses from council to the public hearing comments?
On both the noise and on the partnership, we'll have a discussion at the time of the resolution.
Sure. Any other comments?
Just like to congratulate Bill on the certificate of achievement for the mission. Always
Second that.
appreciate the hard work and dedication and commitment to us in South Morristown. So keep up the good work. Appreciate you.
Congratulations. All right, perfect. Then we will move on to the report of the mayor and town officials.
President?
Wednesday, June 12th, we had our summer senior picnic in the senior center. We had talked to recreation and our new senior coordinator. What a really interesting, it was a luau senior picnic day, and it was well attended, and we actually had dancers and live music, and it was very festive and enjoyed by so thank you to our new senior coordinator who also get to meet at one point or another. So take time out to go and meet them because it's a big part of our community, our seniors. Saturday the 15th, we had a free spring rabies clinic at Town Hall, which is always a popular event for the dogs and the rabies shot. My little guy got his free rabies shot. Wasn't happy, but it's a great benefit to our community and to our residents who are pet owners, which are many. Those who spend as much time as I do outside walking this town, and same thing with you, Council President, is whether or not people walking dogs. We had a Sanofi Heritage collective Juneteenth celebration at 20th Plaza in Green. It was on Saturday the 15th. On the Friday evening before that, Valley Bank, along with Pastor Sidney Williams, Dr. Sidney Williams, held a Juneteenth event, which was well attended, and the speaker with the woman who wrote children's book, her name is on here, and can't bring it to the forefront, but it was well attended, well event. Thank you to Valley Bank and their partners, and Dr. Reverend Sidney Williams for his continued advocacy for history and for the people of Montana. Appreciate it. On the 18th, Council President, thank you for sitting in on the senior graduation. It was a great experience. I appreciate that. I was not in town. Thank you very much. Congratulations to all our seniors on your graduation. Have a
I think it was 451.
There you
from
go.
Morristown High School.
There you go. And they're going to have a great summer. And again, congratulations to the girls across winning their Division State Championship. On the 21st, we had a ribbon cutting, Chaka Kitchen, Council President. Anybody else?
Councilman Russo.
Councilman Russo. Yeah, that's right. Councilman Russo was there. They kept saying, who is that guy? It was great. They're doing well. Good food, and the two sisters have a pretty good operation going on over Chocolate Kitchen. If you haven't been there, go try it. Pretty good. Especially if you like a breakfast bowl in the morning or taco breakfast thing. Good. Tuesday the 25th, which is today, we had the grand opening of Sweet Green Market, 110 Morris Street. That is below the first commercial space to be rented by Deloitte. And if you haven't been to Sweet Greens, I strongly recommend you go. Right, Jen? Yeah, it is really something, and it is really skyrocketing everywhere. Sweet Greens is a very popular place right now. I hear we're lining it into some of their restaurants, especially in Manhattan. They got something for everything. They actually had avocado ice cream today with something. It was a creamery had it, and they had coffee at London Fog and some coffee things and all kinds of food. So go experience it, bring family, friends, go try Sweet Greens. I think you'll enjoy it. July 9th, anybody who's around, is a reopening of the Cafe India and 79 Washington Street. It's at noon, so if you want to join me there, that's the 9th. Tuesday, mark your calendars, and get this out to your social media and to your e-newsletter people. Tuesday the 16th and Wednesday the 17th of July, 9 to 2 mobile DMV unit will be in the Town Hall parking lot. We've already had this one, great success. Get this out. Registration required for Real ID, registration renewal, initial permit, non-driver ID, duplicate replacement title or registration, limited walk-up availability for license plate returns and handicap face parks. To register, visit townofmorristown.org/calendar or scan the QR code on any of the flyers posted throughout Town Hall. Everybody is going to be required eventually to get a real ID. So we want to thank the Governor's Office and Division of Motor Vehicles for now doing this again in our parking lot. It's an important public service by the state to ensure that everybody starts getting their real ID. This is a great benefit to our residents because it's going to be right here in the back of Town Hall, plenty of places to park. be here for 2 days, so check it out. Again, townofmorristown.org/calendar, or scan the QR code on any of the flyers, and I'm sure Kevin will have that on his front page. of Morristown. I hope, maybe, doubt it, but somewhere it'll be in there. On the 18th, Thursday the 18th, 7:30 p.m., Recreation Division hosting movie at Lindenwood Park. Trolls, banding together. That should be interesting. And of course, on the same evening, it's the 7:30 p.m. Verizon 5K. Starts and finishes at MHM. Does that affect your neighborhood?
Right, that's my house twice.
Yeah.
On the running.
Okay, there you go, that's great. So, a couple of quick things, at the end. Oh, wow, 2 pages. 27, I'm sure you were going to say something about it. Noon to 5, Central Biblical, New Jersey Hope Day Festival will be at Colorado Park. That is the 27th, noon to 5 p.m., July 27th. And it is always well attended, great music, great festival, lots of fun. It really is. August 6th, we're not having meetings for a while. August 6th, we have a ribbon cutting at 11 a.m. for Ship Morristown, located at 44 Washington Street. New business that offers mailbox, notary, packing, shipping, and printing services. And we know we send a lot of stuff out. And if we send it through a certain postal service, and say boo, you might not get it. Let's not take too much of a slow back. True. Yeah, it's true. July 4th, obviously, Town Hall is closed and observes the 4th of July. And reminder of a Motown Heroes program honoring Morristown veterans with banners across town. Each banner features the name, branch of service, and photo of an honored veteran. Applications can be found at Town Hall or by visiting townofmorristown.org/Motown Heroes. The attached flyer, which I'm sure will be on our website. You can see all that stuff. So remember the DMV, Hometown Heroes, a couple of different things you guys have come to Pastor Silva's Central Biblical Festival on July 27th. But two more things I want to comment on. One is I do want to congratulate Billy Burns, and I want to congratulate that organization of Community Options. And thank former Councilman Stephen Armington for joining us and being there, because it was moving to see people with physical and mental disabilities advocating and being leaders and in their communities, and Billy's ours. And they all have come from different places, and but they're all there for that leadership role. And it's not just where we held in Denville, it's Princeton, it's Forked River, it was Zoom, there was all these different meetings going on, and ours was live. So I want to publicly congratulate Billy for going through that course and taking that leadership course and graduating. It was a great ceremony. It was a great honor that you invited my wife and I, and we appreciate everything you do for our town. And the last thing I'd like you all to just at some point this evening, keep in your thoughts and prayers to the Ryan family. I'm sure over time you have seen Ryan Plumbing and Ryan's trucks around this town. You may have read in the paper that there was a tragic accident in Lake Pacon. William Ryan, the father, had some type of accident happen and was found dead 2 days after missing off the boat. It was in the newspaper, it's not something that just wrote. So just keep their family in your thoughts and prayers. They're very strong in Morristown, the Morristown area, Morris County. Family's been staple in our community as their business, and I know him personally, his wife, so keep their family in your thoughts and prayers. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I just got noticed.
All right, hot off the press.
Just hot off the press. I know. I you can't have the paper back now. This happened, a couple weeks ago. Last week. So, we had a very famous person in Morristown pass away. Richard Kramer. Those who knew who Richard, right, yep. So Richard Kramer, our famous homeless, individual who sued the library and the town, the police department, and everybody else, and won. And I think he went to Colorado, and sued somebody in Colorado. Yeah, I'd seen her over the last 6 or 7 months, or last year, you'd see him sometimes on the bench in town hall. He used to love vanilla ice cream. He had the vanilla ice cream at night. And he was full of history of Morristown. Morristown graduate, born and raised here. Grandparents, I believe, owned the property that is the old duplicating company next to Staples, if I'm correct. So that was in somewhere in his family. He is no longer with us, and we send our thoughts and prayers out to his family and remembering Richard Kramer, who was a pretty famous guy for the town of Morristown for being a homeless advocate back in the 90s and 80s, and made some headlines in news, CNN, where everybody was out here interviewing him. So I thought you might want to know that. That's all I have.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to council liaison reports.
Good evening. I don't really have that much. Things are moving on down at Manhattan Village and Private Street. Some of the residents have moved back in, and they're very happy.
And we have a new executive director.
Yeah, Allison,
Yes.
she's the executive pool director now. She was over there last night. Congratulations.
And
Great. Councilman Russo.
Nothing new to report, planning board, next meeting is this Thursday.
Okay. Councilman Silva. Nothing new. Councilman Lipchuk.
Sure, the partnership met on, excuse me, on the 12th. They had a presentation from Rising in the Kitchen. You probably saw an article on MorristownMarine.com about it, but it's an organization that kind of hooks up and coming chefs with customers that they normally wouldn't find each other. So it's a really interesting organization based in Morristown. And as part of the discussion, we discovered a little quirk in the land development ordinance that the state now allows private businesses, home bakers, to go take it home and sell it. The land development ordinance require that to be a conditional use variance. It's home application. Something we might want to consider at some point. Partnership also hosted a in-person networking event on the 4th at Valley Bank on the headquarters in Speedwell. And it's about 80 members of the partnership attended. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it, but it was, I heard it's a beautiful space and was well received from everyone. 2024 Farmers Market kicked off on Father's Day, June 16th. And I got a couple nice presents from there from my family. It was really nice to see. There was a new seasonal feature published called Summer in Morristown. It was published on Star Ledger and NJ.com. There's copies you can get them at the Farmers Market in partnership. And then also there was a large discussion about their budget that was passed by the board, partnership board, unanimously. Their discussion was that they intended to move forward with the Schedule A revisions that Ms. Waring spoke about. And of course, they reiterated that they need the council to introduce an ordinance and adopt an ordinance in order to make that happen. So,
Thank you. All right, Margot, we'll move to regular business.
Okay, there are two ordinances for introduction this evening. Ordinance O-20-2024 and ordinance of the town of Morristown and the county of Morris, state of New Jersey for compensation for management / non-union positions in the town of Morristown, New Jersey, and amending all ordinances concerning such compensation heretofore adopted.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance O-20-2024.
Second.
Any comments or questions from council? Okay, on the introduction of ordinance O-20-2024, Councilwoman Foster.
Yes.
Councilman Anacone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lindsay?
Yes.
Councilman Felicia?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Umbreak?
Yes.
Motion carries. Ordinance O-20-2024 has been properly introduced by title and will be considered further after public hearing on July 9th. Ordinance number O-21-2024, an ordinance of the town of Morristown, of the county of Morris, state of New Jersey, for compensation for the elected mayor, town council members, and council president in the town of Morristown, New Jersey, and amending all ordinances concerning such compensation heretofore adopted.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number O-21-2024.
Second.
Any comments or questions from council? On the introduction of ordinance O-21-2024, Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Anacone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lindsay?
Yes.
Councilman Felicia?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Umbreak?
Yes.
Motion carries. Ordinance O-21-2024 has been introduced properly by title and will be considered further after a public hearing on July 9th. There are also two ordinances for public hearing and adoption. Ordinance number O-18-2024. Ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 3 Police Regulations, specifically Section 3-1 Noise of the Code of the Town of Morristown.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance O-18-2024.
Second.
At this time, I will open the floor for public comment on ordinance O-18-2024 only. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any comments or questions from council?
I would strongly recommend that we actually redraft this ordinance, deny this ordinance, and redraft the ordinance. Steve, I'd like you to talk a little bit about this. Steve actually took the first stab at it. Rather than actually weakening the ordinance, as I think Ms. Byer has stated in her comments during the public portion of this meeting, I think what we should be doing is augmenting it by giving the flexibility that the police are asking for. So rather than taking away measures and taking away certain enforcement mechanisms, what we're doing is basically adding the ability of the police to do what they would like to do on a more informal, non-measured basis. I think we can do better than that without compromising the ordinance.
I really agree with Mr. Anacone's statements from last meeting as well. Where he said, I took a very first stab at trying to integrate the concerns I heard from the police and the administration and integrate that into the current ordinance instead of removing the ordinance and replacing it in its entirety. And I would love an opportunity to meet with the administration, Department of Public Safety, Mr. Anacone, and available as well, and see if this meets the goals. The way I understood the presentation from the Public Safety Director, I believe it does, but of course I don't know his opinion on it, so I would love to have an opportunity just to sit down and meet and go through it. And I think at the very least, this ordinance for adoption should be tabled until we have that opportunity to discuss it. And if it comes out of that discussion that this proposed ordinance that was up for adoption tonight is the right one, then I'll go ahead and agree with that. But I strongly agree that the DEP model ordinance is the minimum, and we should make it more strict, and it's something that we can do. So if the administration is available, Ms. Mitchell, of course, is available.
Council President, the only concerns that I think, the concerns shared by both the administration and the police department is that legally, if we amend the model ordinance, that will require DEP approval. What the police department is recommending is a straight repeal in place, which would not trigger the approval of the DEP, which obviously we're still DEP, lengthy process. So I just understand that we all know that if we do go the route of modifying this ordinance, we will require it.
And if I may, Council, the impression I got from a couple weeks ago when the experts were speaking is that, and Judy, by the way, thank you for coming up. I mean, stay in touch with me. Thank you. Welcome back. And you mentioned more autonomy for the officers to do what they need to do. But I felt like, after hearing from the experts at the last council meeting, like without having to revise anything, go back and look at, they already have more autonomy to do what they want to do, even if we were to go ahead and approve this. And I feel like either way, they're going to have more autonomy, regardless of direction, without having to go back and redo everything. So we can still get the job done. Obviously, I encourage you to always reach out to me with the concerns you have, even if this does go through. So that's just my take on it. And anyone can correct me if I'm wrong. That's the impression I got from hearing experts in building schools.
Can I ask for a comment from the administration?
I mean, ultimately, I think what we presented to you is what we're looking for. And, you know, the public safety director, the chief, and the officers who were trained gave me their feedback at the last meeting. And, you know, we kind of stand by that. If you, as a governing body, choose to go a different direction, we'll obviously work with you, to, you know, find the common ground. But, you know, the proposal we put before you is what we're seeing.
Okay.
You know,
Yes, sir.
the bottom line is where it says that, I totally agree with the argument. I think our public safety, the chief of police, and the officer that's in charge of it, pretty clear that doesn't work.
Right.
And I have stated this since about the council. You have laws in the book that don't work. Just don't work. And we work in some communities where that ordinance is not working.
Right.
And no ticket for you. Not that they don't want to write tickets. They can't write tickets because of the way they work. So, they feel, public safety director, police department, the chief of police, we agree with their expertise that it needs to be repealed.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, on the adoption of ordinance number O-18-2024, Councilwoman Foster.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
No.
Councilwoman Lindsay.
Yes.
Councilman Philipchuk.
No.
Councilman Russo.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Umbreak.
Yes.
Motion carries. Ordinance O-18-2024 is adopted. Ordinance O-19-2024, ordinance amending the code of the town of Morristown, chapter 7 traffic, section 7-14, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance number O-19-2024. Second.
At this time, I'll open the floor for a public hearing on ordinance O-19-2024 only. None. Any comments or questions from council? On the adoption of ordinance O-19-2024, Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lindsay?
Yes.
Councilman Philipchuk?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Umbreak?
Yes.
Okay, we have 13 resolutions for adoption. Would, members of council like any poll for separate consideration?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
109.
Okay,
116.
any others?
And I'd like to just comment on 113 and 114.
You wanna comment on those together?
Yeah.
Alright, we'll pull them.
Pull it.
Okay, with that, I would ask for a motion to adopt resolution numbers 110-2024, 111-2024, 114, 115, 2024, and 117, 2024 through 121.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, Councilwoman Foster.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lindsay.
Yes.
Councilman Philipchuk.
Yes.
Councilman Russo.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Umbreak.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution number 109-2024, resolution adopting the 2024 budget of the Morristown Partnership Special Improvement District.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution R-109-2024.
Second.
Okay, Councilman.
Okay, I'm going to start by saying that I think that the partnership needs to be reinvented. And I agree with Mr. Arlington's comments, but also I added at our last meeting how we need to include the Hispanic small businesses. So there are a lot of things that need revision. Because there was a committee last year, we cannot waste the work that they did. We need to continue working on what they were the findings to make that better. I think all of us here want the best for small businesses. I'm very pro small businesses, but I think that we need to level the playing and help everyone and even do other things. I see how the budget increased a lot. In my view, and I spoke with the president, I would like to to see that maybe that budget is redone and maybe a different distribution of the new funds. So that's what I have to say now.
Councilman, pick up on some of the points that Councilman Silver brought up. Jen, you know, I did notice, I looked at your public notice, and I'm not happy. Quite frankly, what I would much rather have seen was an actual statement made to the property owners of the budget being doubled, okay, and what they should expect in terms of the increase in their tax, in their SID tax. I looked at this, and I looked at it just quickly since you gave it to me, and what I do see that in one of your newsletters, you do have an announcement, announcing that to this meeting, which I asked you to do, okay? But you didn't mention the budget, you didn't mention the fact that the assessment was gonna be done. Furthermore, in one of your emails, again, you're communicating with your constituents. In one of the emails, you also mentioned the same thing about tonight's meeting, but again, not the details of what was happening. We all know these people are busy people. They don't have a lot of time to go look for a budget and figure out what's going on themselves. So I'm disappointed, but not really. I'm disappointed more so in the general public, okay? The fact that you're approving the doubling of a budget this evening, and this is not coming at you, but the fact that nobody else is here concerned about the doubling of the budget is such a disappointment. And I'll say it, we vote on a lot of important things, we put a lot of homework into preparing for these meetings, and the fact that there's a lack of public interest and this is important. This is a very important issue, and the lack of basically people recognizing the issue and actually coming here and speaking up. The second thing is you're doubling the budget, okay? And I'm not saying that what you put in there isn't good, it is good. But I tend to agree with Stephen Armington on this. You know, how can you truly, you know, double your budget, double the scope of work you're going to do, and actually accomplish that doubling in size in 1 year? Okay, you represent a business partnership. How practical is it to double your budget and double the work? You know, especially when you have some issues like Pastor Silver has brought up of, okay, where is the community outreach? What are we doing on Morris Avenue? What are we doing on Speedwell Avenue? What are you doing on Washington Avenue? You know, so there's concerns there. Now, mind you, you reviewed it with your board approved it. And quite frankly, you do have board representatives from Morris Street, from Washington Avenue, from Speedwell Avenue. Yet, I'm still disappointed that people aren't here, okay? And I'm wondering if we really gave them the facts, would they have come tonight to speak and spoken up? And the third issue I have is similar to Pastor Silver's with reference to Schedule A of the SID. Okay, it's real important. At the last meeting, I asked the question, if you add properties to the SID, will you at that point, rather than adjusting your budget, will you adjust your the rate? And you said yes, which was good. Because basically you're saying all these things in this budget we should do, want to do, we've got the board support to do it. We're really not hearing any public opposition this evening, but we have to redo this schedule. So I don't know if we can do this, but here we go. Okay, but let me ask you a question. Okay, can we basically approve an increase and ask that they come back 6 months later for approval of the balance of the budget? Because you don't want to slow them down. Jen, I think she was very articulate, and her presentation was very, very good at the last meeting, where she is highlighting a lot of things they want to get accomplished. Okay, you know, I don't know the intricacies of the redoing of the schedule. I don't know why it's such a problem. Okay, because as Councilman Armington, it really does it kind of is leaving out a lot of very valuable properties, which means that assessment is being more paid by smaller businesses rather than larger businesses that might benefit from it more. What I'd like to do is not say no, but say no. Okay? Which basically is, let me finish this and then give it a shot. Is then
hard palpitation.
Don't get off. What I'd like to see is that we basically approve a 50% increase in the budget at the discretion of of the administration and the board of the partnership, ask them to come back and, if necessary, approve it. Now, for Jillian, she has to do tax bills, and I know there's a whole thing, so you have to also tell me if I'm crazy.
That was my, I'm sorry, I'll take it. That was I had two concerns. One is a legal one. We have a statutory obligation to approve or reject the budget of the SME. I don't know how you accomplish this from a fiscal standpoint. I don't know how our CFO could properly send out tax bills on a 6-month budget. So I have a lot of concerns. I think in order to do what you're saying, it would require more legal review than we can do off the cuff, and more financial review than can be done off the cuff. So I appreciate it, but I think it's too much of a lift to do right now at a meeting. I would say if the budget were voted down, then we can get together and talk about a way forward, but the fiscal issues and the legal issues cannot be resolved in the next 5 minutes. We just can't.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, I would not recommend 6-month budget this season.
Because you're rep the partnership, so you hear.
Yeah, you're the liaison.
Obviously, had extensive discussions about this. The board is unanimous with their approval. So I think that speaks a lot that the people that are represented by the SID are elected by these members are elected by members of the SID, said, yes, 100%, we want this budget. If you came back to me and said, hey, your taxes are going from $10,000 to $20,000, yeah, I'd raise a red flag on that one too, 100% increase. So if you look at percentages, it's high. Okay. I got a number of specific properties, just one property. Okay. The total property value increased from $763,000 to $1.5 million. Double in the property. The SID assessment went from $800 to $1,500. We're not talking thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on these property numbers that are extensive. If you break it down to that specific property per square foot, it's 27 cents, which is a reasonable amount in my opinion. I agree with Mr. Arlington. Taxes only go up. They haven't gone up in 30 years on the SID assessment. In the meantime, inflation has gone crazy. And we saw a presentation, the price of things they do has gone crazy. If we want to say no, don't do that things anymore, and we want to take on doing all the street lights, we want to take on all those streetscape things that they do, we don't have money to do that. What would we have to do? We'd have to raise our taxes for our residents to do it from the one-to-one comparison. Why not have the commercial properties paid? I completely agree that Schedule A needs to be revised, and as a council action needs to happen. I'm fully committed to getting that done by the end of the year. I'm working with partnership and getting that done. It needs to happen. It hasn't happened in 30 years. Almost more than some of us have been around. It's crazy that if you look at the inflation from that time period and the amount that they were doing and the dedication that they had, and the real money has gone down. It really has. And I think one of the items that was brought up as a concern at one of the previous meetings was salaries and their retirement package. We're talking about 3 people that are paid employees of the partnership. If you look at the salaries that they're proposing on this, it is comparable to other positions similar to this. I don't think it's unreasonable to be paying our employees that do so much for us a living wage, that live in our town and serve our town for the dedication I've seen from the partnership even before I was a councilman. Having a retirement plan, I don't think is unreasonable. And then on top of that, there's a huge institutional knowledge that's there right now. And, we all know from business, if you don't increase salaries, you're going to lose people. I think if we lose any member of those 3 people, it's going to be a hardship on the partnership. And yes, anyone's replaceable, completely agree with that. But this labor market, I know in my business, I've been looking for people for a year and a half, and I have not been able to find anyone. I think maintaining that institutional knowledge is critical. So without hesitation, I would approve this budget. And I would work with them on that Schedule A to that next year's budget, the total budget number stays the same, and the rate goes down so that it's fairly spread across all applicable properties. One other item that had just blew out my mind, but to me, there's no question whether or not this should be moved.
Any other comments from council?
Okay, on the.
I'm actually saying, Rach, we don't want to slow Jennifer down, but at the same time, we want to see changes. So, I think that, as a recommendation, we can vote, we want a commitment that, there is going to be, a difference in what you do, this year, and also whatever is our part here, we need to start working on it. I just want to emphasize one of the things that I said, because I'm just focusing on one thing, but I just want to emphasize it, and is how one of the landmarks of our town is diversity. If we lose the Latino businesses, we will lose the Latino community, and we won't be diverse.
Yeah, I just want to add something. That's so the reaction from the partnership board and members of your offer to help them out with the Spanish community was ecstatically appreciated. I would love to work with you and the partnership to help that happen. I think it's a great idea, and having someone from that community be able to get the message out, I think speaks wonders than me trying to do it. Forget about my Spanish is horrible. But I think I respect the member of that community means a lot coming out, so I would help facilitate whatever I can on that. And the last item I wanted to speak about that I forgot, the reserve for the tax appeal. If you look at the taxes that are happening right now, tax assessments have gone double for commercial properties. I don't think it's unreasonable that some of those commercial properties are going to appeal that. And maybe that appeal does not happen every year because it's not doubling their assessment every year. But I think this year it does make sense to have that reserve so they're not eating away from program or any other capital budget to pay for taxpayers.
Any other comments? No? All right, let's call the vote.
On the adoption of resolution number R-109-2024, Councilman Foster.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
With our reservations, yes.
Councilwoman Lindsay.
Yes.
Councilman Falipchuk.
Yes.
Councilman Russo.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
With the reservation that I spoke, yes.
Council President Umbreak.
Yes.
Motion carries, the resolution is adopted. The next two resolutions will be considered together. That's R-112-2024, resolution authorizing submission of grant application and execution of a grant agreement with the NJDOT for funding from the fiscal year 25 municipal aid program for the Franklin Street resurfacing project. And also resolution number R-113-2024, resolution authorizing submission of a grant application and execution of a grant agreement with the NJDOT for funding from the fiscal year 25 Safe Streets to Transit program for the Morristown train station sidewalk safety improvements.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolutions R-112-2024 and R-113-2024.
Second.
Councilman.
This is great, because this is actually, the correct numbers, it's actually the radius around the train station, getting the grant monies to improve the sidewalk and walkability.
I thought,
That's
for
the-
clarification, I
that's
thought
the
you had pulled 113 or 114.
That's what I thought too, but that's okay,
Is there
because
identical
we're gonna vote
112?
yes, and it's almost identical, but I think it's great that we're going for the money.
Yes.
I was just curious, for that region, we've done, we've had M Station, we have a lot of things going on in that whole region. And so, this is monies in addition to the monies that we got via the development agreement as part of those development.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
secondly, so it's additional money that we're applying for. And secondly, do we have a master plan for that project? I mean, we're applying for the funds, we know what we asked for and what we have in the developers agreement in terms of the developers' contributions towards certain improvements. But is there a master plan that accompanies these applications? Or do we just look for the money and then work where we have to?
Not per se. I mean, engineering has a set of projects that we kind of have on our to-do list with our capital program and our capital budget as we present and as you adopt. And then we kind of have a similar list that's an internal list that we keep an eye on, projects that we would like to do if grant monies become available.
Gotcha.
Like, for example, the intersection improvements at King Street. So that was a project that we kind of had on our on our sort of internal list, and then when a grant
Then we got
became
the funding.
available, we applied for it. It wasn't something that we were going to fund internally, but we sought grant dollars for it. So this is a similar project. And the Safe Routes to Transit and these two grants come up every year, and we have success usually with one or the other, which is why we typically submit for both, because we will hope to get one or the other.
Great, thank you.
Okay, on the adoption of, and I'm sorry about the numbers. That's
okay. Or state.
On the adoption of resolution numbers 112-2024 and 113-2024, Councilman Foster.
13 to 114.
I think we pulled 112
I think I
and 113 for
pulled
separate
one, too.
consideration.
114 is
Yeah, but we can vote.
Okay,
stand corrected.
Yes, thank you. Councilman Anacone?
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay?
Yes.
Councilman Calypso?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Umbreak?
Yes.
Motion carries, those resolutions are adopted. And finally, we have resolution number R-116-2024, resolution appointing Mary Ann O'Donnell McCoy as municipal court judge.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution R-116-2024.
Second.
Councilman?
I just have to explain my extension from this, okay? Mary Ann's law firm is actually the last name on that law firm is Early. Earl is my wife. Okay, so in full disclosure. But on this, I will have to say that, it was not suggested by me nor my wife. We didn't participate in the conversation. In fact, other than a very kind courtesy notice that this was happening, did either me or my wife know, which we were fine with, which we were all fine with. But probably more importantly, the money actually flows outside of the law firm, so I just want to make everybody clear of that. Judgeships, prosecutorships that the individual attorneys have in the firm actually flows outside of the firm. It's not part of the business or the income of the firm itself. And the appointment that you have here tonight is to her as an individual, not to her as a firm. And then lastly, I will just point out to you that if there is a conflict in the future, please note it for me, because I think the lawyers, the juries, people are doing our things. Just make sure you let me know if you think there is a conflict, because I'm more than happy to abstain. But in my 7 years on council, not once did we ever have to do anything that interfered with the municipal court. And the only involvement we have with the municipal court that I've seen in the 7 years that I've been on has been in the budget, which is basically, because the budget for the municipal court is in the budget that we approve. That's the only thing we find, or anything like the company. But Mary Ann, very, very good lawyer, very, very good prosecutor, judging of municipalities, very, very experienced in this field, practiced in Morristown. It's a good choice, but don't take it from me.
Thank you. Thanks for that clarity.
Okay, on the adoption of resolution R-116-2024, Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Anacone?
Abstain.
Councilwoman Lindsay?
Yes.
Councilman Calypso?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Umbreak?
Yes.
Motion carries, resolution is adopted.
All right, we do not have any unfinished old business, but I would like to bring up some new business that isn't on our agenda. And this stems from an email communication that I think many council members probably received. I don't know if the attorney received it, but we received an email notification from the owners of Dismal Harmony Distillery. And as you know, special permits are awarded to vendors to, in this particular case, sell distilled spirits at the farmer's market, which I'm not sure what time the farmer's market starts, at 9 o'clock?
I think it's like
9 a.m. and they offer samples and things of that nature. While Dismal Harmony, which backs to the farmer's market, isn't allowed currently to sell liquor on Sundays until afternoon. So the question was asked, would this governing body be open to potentially amending those blue laws? And I'd like to hear people's, I just want to introduce it now, have people kind of think about it, think about, you know, pros and cons, and we can discuss further at next council meeting.
Actually, Mr. Austin actually approached me on that also.
Okay.
Walk down. I actually think it should come through the partnership. Again, you know, we have this business association. I mean, what's your thoughts?
So, I actually ended up running for the zone as well, on the farmer's market day and spoke about this.
Not that you all hang out with the still.
I am all for supporting local businesses.
Yeah.
But I brought it to Ms. Waring and asked to get some partnership feedback just informally, and everything's been positive. They completely agree that it is an antiquated restriction. It does restrict them from hosting private events, auto showers, that kind of thing on Sunday morning. Because other municipalities near like Summit has a 9 a.m. start on Sundays instead of 12 p.m.